Hello students. So now I'll be moving for the further of the lesson. So in the previous class we just studied that Joseph is dead and Jacques and Pierre is talking to each other and the conversations are being done with these two fellows and Pierre is not ready to agree that his Joseph is dead. And Jacques is trying to console Pierre. Let's move further. Jacques clapped him on the shoulder. We will find another horse just as good as Joseph. So he's just consoling with his words that whatever happens is just a fate. By clapping on his shoulder, he says, let's find another horse which is as good as Joseph. Why? In a month, you will teach him to know your route as well as Joseph did. We will. So he's just consoling with his words that we will find another horse and we will make sure that, and we are sure that you will train that new horse within a month. And then what happens next? The look in Pierre's eyes stopped him. For years, Pierre had worn a heavy cap. The peak came low over his eyes, keeping the bitter morning wind out of them. So as we can see in the picture, this is a Pierre, and Pierre is wearing a cap which covers his eyes. So nobody can see his eyes directly. Later, now Jacques looked into Pierre's eyes and saw something that startled him. Startled, shocked. He saw a dead, lifeless look in them. The eyes were mirroring. Eyes were mirroring. It is reflecting the pain in his eyes. And he saw something which shocked him. What was it? He saw a dead in the eyes of Pierre. And he had a lifeless look. He is mourning. He is having a great pain which cannot be healed by anybody. Pierre is trying to manage the situation, but he cannot. And those things were exactly mirroring in his eyes. Mirroring, who can see the pain in the eyes. Jacques is describing his pain. And then later, what happens? The grief that was in Pierre's heart, grief, sorrow, the sorrowness, which was there in the Pierre's heart and his soul, it was as though his heart and soul has died. So as of not only Joseph has died physically, but here still Pierre is alive and feeling, and he is feeling that much of a pain that he had a died soul. His soul is dead. Jacques is telling, take today off, Pierre. So you may take holiday today and rest at home. Jacques said this to Pierre. But already Pierre was hobbling off down the street. So meanwhile, he did not complete yet the sentence or his conversation. He was just walking. Hobbling, it is nothing but walking. Walking with difficulty because the legs of him are hurting very badly. So he just walked towards the street. There was a warning, yell, L, it is nothing but yell, Y-E-L-L, yell, it is nothing but a huge sound here. So the other words which refers for yelling, don't yell on him, in the sense don't shout on him. But here, according to the context, there was a huge sound. You have to understand it is a huge sound. A huge sound from the driver of a huge truck. He was hearing the horn sound. There was a great yell of a horn, that is huge truck that was approaching very fast. So down to the street, a huge truck was approaching very fast, and a warning yell was given, that is he was horning. there was a scream of breakers. So soon after, he just went towards the way across the road, and he came onto the vehicle, and then there was a scream, in the sense the sound of the brakes he just heard, and all the people on the streets, they just got startled and they just paused for a minute. But Pierre seemed to hear neither. So not even the horn of the truck and not even the yell of the driver was heard by Pierre. Nothing he heard. Why? He is in such a demise that he cannot hear anything, he cannot think of anything, and he just completely lost his sense. 5 minutes later, an ambulance driver said, "He is dead," was killed instantly. He met with an accident with the truck and he is dead on the spot. The ambulance came in and this was declared by the ambulance driver. "I could not help it," the driver of the truck protested. Yes, of course, it is not his mistake. Pierre would have watched out the vehicle, but he did not do so because he was in such a demise that he lost the sense on him. "He walked right into my truck." So he just came into my truck and I never saw it and I could not control my vehicle. He never saw it, I guessed. Why? He walked into it as though he were blind. So as of he just walked on, as of he is a blind fellow. So this is the first and the very shocking and surprised kind of a sentence, a statement was declared by the ambulance driver and the other fellowman over there. He was blind enough. The ambulance doctor bent down. So the doctor bent down and started to examine again. What made Pierre to go hearless? Was he deaf? Was he blind? So let's see. Blind. Of course, the man was blind. So the ambulance doctor declared that the man was blind. See those cataracts. So we will be pronouncing that word as cataracts. What is a cataracts? Cataracts, a tissue like a growth that will be in a white color, which will be appearing on the lens of the eye. That will be called as a cataract. This man must have been blind for at least 5 years. So very surely the doctor is telling that for 5 long years he may be blind enough. But what would be the reason that he has hidden that he is a blind? So let's see in the further of the lesson. Moving on to the next page. He turned to Jacques. He turned to Jacques. Who turned to Jacques? The doctor, the ambulance doctor. He turned to Jacques. "You say he worked for you. Didn't you know he was blind?" So he said that you are just telling that he worked for you, but don't you know that he was blind? So Jacques replied softly, "None of us knew. Only one knew, a friend of his named Joseph. It was a secret, I think, just between those two." So, though Pierre was working for Jacques from many years, but he was blind for almost 5 years. Only except his only and good friend of him, that is Joseph, a white horse, knew the secret. So this was the one major secret shared by Joseph and Pierre. Only those two share this secret, and not even a single fellow knew about this. That is the reason Pierre was wearing a cap which covers up his eyes. So by this, we saw that Joseph and Pierre had a strong bondage between each other and they too shared a secret. What was the secret? A secret that Pierre was blind. It is an kind of an amazing thing we have to understand. Pets grantedly. We should not do so. By this, what we understand is like how man shares his emotion, bondage, and the compatibility, the same way the animals also do it. How we treat the animals, they treat us the same. If we give love, they give love for us. If we share a secret, definitely they'll be going to just maintain the secret within themselves. So this is what we learn. If we hate them, they definitely hate us. So what we have to do is, being a man and being aware of all the things, we should love each other. So it might be a man, between a man to each other man, or the man and animal, whatever, we should have a great bondage. And this story is, it gives an moral thing for us, how they shared up the secret between each other. So hope you all enjoyed and learned the lesson very well. So see you in my next class with a new chapter and a new moral of the story. Thank you.